Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia Crasco, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hi, Patrick. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, so before we get started, can you tell me what is a gift coach?
Good question, Alicia. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Okay, so a gift coach is different from a gift consultant. Let's get that right off the bat. Like gift consultant, they're going to help you find specific gifts for specific people. A gift coach, my job is not to make you a better shopper or supplement your shopping. Being a gift coach at bettergift.com is more like helping you be a better gift giver, not a better shopper.
Oh,
And here's how I got into all of this. Okay. So it wasn't long ago, a couple of years ago, I kind of did an account of the gifts that I've recently given my wife. And we had been together for about 10 years and pre-kids and pre-marriage and pre all of the current stresses we have as adults running a household. I gave some really good gifts. Not all the time. I would say on average, I'm an average gift giver.
a B-list gift giver I saw.
I'm a B. Yes, I would give myself a B on average, but every once in a while, I would give her really, really good A plus gifts. And she makes this goofy looking smile when I blow her mind with a really good gift. And after doing an assessment, I was just like, man, I haven't seen that smile in a long time. So I was going through a transition period in my career, and I was like, hey, like I'm going to learn how to become a better gift giver myself. And a trick that worked for me was just asking people in my life and trying to find stories online of the best gifts that people have ever received or given, and then just copying them. Like it's nothing clever. I'm just finding great gift ideas or and copying them. And once I had a catalog of them, I was like, I should start sharing these stories. So I started a newsletter at bettergiftcoach.com. It's a free weekly newsletter. It's a quick read, it's once a week. It shares the short, real story of the best gift that someone's ever received or given. And then I provide guidance on how someone could make that gift their own.
Okay.
And then fast forward until today, I mean, my guidance has been picked up by the New York Times. I've been featured in Real Simple magazine. It's crazy being still by nature an average gift giver, but now being an expert in this space because I've found shortcuts to take someone who's not a great gift giver and make them a much better one.
That is so fascinating because I think that there's so much anxiety about like, oh my gosh, okay, insert holiday is coming up. What do I get somebody? And I was creeping your Instagram and I saw one of the things on there, you've got like that little ribbon that says best gift ever. And one of them was for a blender. Now, depending on like where you are in life, like maybe a blender is a really great idea, or maybe somebody's already got one. Can you tell me the story about that one if you remember it?
Easy, because that's my own story.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And it is. And so that is one of the best gifts that I've ever received from my wife. I guess at that time we were just dating. And well, I'll tell the story and then I'll tell the gift giving shortcut that others could copy from the story,
Okay,
that you can
perfect.
learn from the story. So the story is she watched me for about a year or so just chew down my smoothies because I was using this old blender and I've put like kale in my smoothies, etc. And I'm more chewing my smoothies than drinking it at this point because I'm just too cheap to invest in a new blender.
Sure.
So she splurged on a Vitamix for me.
Okay.
And I mean, it was one of the best gifts that I've ever received. I make a smoothie every morning. And, this Vitamix is probably going like 5 or 6 years strong at this point,
Wow.
and absolutely love it. And she gets this satisfaction of, every once in a while, she's around me every morning drinking when I'm drinking my smoothie, but every once in a while, she'll be like, so you like that Vitamix, huh? And she'll get that satisfaction of seeing me get to enjoy it, which is like a gift giver's like that's the true um, value that a gift recipient can offer a gift giver. I believe is just letting them get to see the value that they've provided you. So she gets that. Uh, but the shortcut behind that is try to solve someone's biggest annoyances with the gift that you give them. So many people try to give gifts that add a positive to someone's life. Not often are you focusing on how can I remove a negative from somebody's life, but I think of a lot of us took account of what we would rather have happen in our life. And if you have the two choices of either adding a positive to your life or removing an already existing negative, a lot of us would pick, let's remove that negative from our life. So
Good
as a
point.
gift giver, I try to remind people that that's a good route to take.
That's interesting because just for Father's Day, I got my husband two gifts. And at this point in our relationship, I do like practical things. And I
Yeah.
didn't even realize that I was doing like remove the negative thing. But our mudroom is about the smallest mudroom you've ever seen in your whole entire life. And we
Mhm.
have shoes everywhere. And it's something that drives him crazy. Granted, I don't like it either. And so late night on Amazon, I'm like, oh, you know what I could do? I could get a little shoe rack that fits under our mudroom bench. And so I got two of them, like one that goes on either side. And so like Father's Day morning, like I'd set them up. It took me like 10 minutes to put both of them together. And he was like, oh my, what did you do? How, and I'm like, I got you a shoe rack for Father's Day. And he was like, what? This is amazing. Like he was so excited about it because there weren't shoes all over. There weren't his shoes. There weren't my shoes. There weren't my daughter's shoes. You would think that 30 people live in our house with the number of shoes that we've got. And then so ridiculous, right? But like that's what I would have wanted too. And another thing is that we travel quite a bit. And so he's got this awesome North Face Surge backpack. I love it. Like I've been envious of it for years. And I tried desperately to find the exact same version of it. I couldn't. They've got like Surge 3.0 or whatever is out now.
Hmm.
And so we got it and he was gone until my daughter and I were going through it and we're like, wow, like fawning all over these ridiculous features that are actually really nice. And so that was the other gift that I gave him. And he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you got this because it's been annoying me that, this part is like coming apart and I needed to get a new one. And I never did. And thank you. Like, and I'm like, yes, but I've creeped your stuff enough to know that like that goofy smile or, like feeling like relieved, like you got a good gift. And then like that overwhelming like sensation of like, yes, like I got the right thing, right? Like it's
Yep.
just like those two emotions are so, yeah, you're like, I can do this. Like this is really awesome. I love it.
Yep. I always say the best feeling in life, some of the best feelings in life, right, are having a gift idea well in advance. So you're not sweating about it.
Mhm.
An awesome gift idea. So having awesome gift ideas well in advance and being overwhelmingly excited to give it to that person. And then, of course, the last one is getting to see them enjoy it. Right. But those
Right.
are just amazing feelings in life. The shoe rack is such a good gift for so many reasons. If we can just take a moment to break down why it's a great gift. Right. So going back to you recognizing one of your husband's biggest annoyances and then solving it with a gift, that's awesome, right? I would recommend a lot of people take that step. But you went a step further in that you also added an element of surprise. So as I understand the story, like he came downstairs and the shoe rack was already set up and the shoes were on it,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
so many people would stop at just giving him the shoe rack, and even if they said, "Hey, I'll be the one to assemble it," but still, like seeing him open it, it's not the same as seeing him getting surprised by it with the shoe rack actually in action, right? And that's also a gift for you as the gift giver because you get to see that surprised reaction in a way that still very much benefits him. So it just really added to the richness of the gift. So I'm really thrilled that you shared that story.
I am probably the nerdiest person that you meet, like when it comes to gift, like that, like excitement about it. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so excited about this gift. Like the backpack, I was like, I just want to tell him what it is because I'm so excited. I had said, it's something you already have. Well, I've got a 4-year-old, so I'm like, okay, this is for daddy, but we cannot tell him what it is. Our anniversary
Yep.
was in May, and my mother-in-law had gotten us these really nice red wine glasses, and she had showed my daughter and she said, okay, these are for mommy and daddy. Well, my daughter went and told my husband what they were, not me. And so I was like, okay, we cannot tell him. This is a surprise. We could not tell him. Um, but I'm like, okay, it's something that you already have that you want to replace. I really want this. So for my birthday, I want the exact same thing, just different colors, or you could get the exact same one. But like I said, we travel quite a bit. So I don't want to like confuse them because that would be detrimental to like traveling. But he
You're,
was like, oh, wow, yeah, I will definitely get you this. What were you going to say?
you're also a great gift recipient, right? So doing him the solid of just telling him like, hey, next time you get me a gift, this is what I want. Like, I'm not a proponent. So there's great studies behind this where gift recipients overwhelmingly prefer gifts that they've requested versus surprise or unanticipated gifts.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
So
Yeah.
the fact that you're a gift giver's ally as a gift recipient by saying, like, just proactively sharing, like, this is what I want. This is what's going to add value to my life. It just makes their job so much easier. So I'm not about just giving surprise gifts for the sake of shock and awe. I'm
Yeah.
all about, like, my North Star for gift giving is always, within first thing, you want to give gifts that your gift recipient wants to receive over gifts that you want to give. So if
Mhm.
you ever find yourself in a situation where, and you take a step back and you're like, I think I'm more excited. I think this gift is more for me than them for them, even though it is truly a gift for them. Like, you're not really aligned with what your main goal should be,
Yeah.
which is within reason. Your top priority should be giving a gift that maximizes what I call practical and or emotional value that the gift's going to offer its recipient.
I love that you say practical because, like I said, like that's where I am. Okay, about being a gift ally, Patrick, you have no idea. I don't fake very well. So if you get me something and I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Like that, obviously you can tell how like authentic that is, right? And I'm so
Yeah.
genuinely like excited about it. So when we were dating, I would say now my husband is like an awesome gift giver. We've been together for a while, but when we were dating, um this is so ridiculous. Kind of the control part of it, but also like I wanted to set him up for success. I would literally email him hyperlinks with specific gifts that I wanted. And if they were on sale, the promo code was there. If it was a subscription, how long I wanted it for. But I didn't want him to be like, I don't know what to give her, so I'm just gonna get her whatever. And so now I'm like, you always get me the best gifts. And he's like, well, for years, I got you exactly what you wanted. I'm like, I know, and that's great. But then it also kind of helped him. Well, it didn't kind of, it did help him in the sense that now I don't do that anymore. Now I do like the surprise of it. I've also ruined a lot of surprises. Just because I'm like, oh, I think that I know that this is this, but like I said, I'm super nerdy. Like I get really excited about gifts and like giving them. I do a good job of receiving them, but I love to give them. And I'm
Right.
like, I think that it's this. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, do not ruin this by like asking discovery questions and trying to figure it out. It's so ridiculous.
You and my wife would get along really well. I feel
Oh
like
my gosh.
she wanted to give me my Father's Day present in like April.
Yeah.
And I was just like, sweetheart, please just hang on. And enjoy the excitement that you have in wanting to give it to me. Yeah, absolutely. Two quick things. Here's a tip for any listener out there. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, I share stories like this all the time where they're the best gifts people have ever received often aren't gifts that cost any money,
Hmm.
right? And I think they're awesome kind of add-ons to practical gifts, like physical practical gifts. Let's say your husband's walking around with holes in his socks and you're just like, okay, I'm going to get him socks. He would really like a new pair of smart wool socks, whatever. That's a great gift, but traditionally people say that as kind of boring. But if you're following that North Star that I've put out for us in this conversation, that's gifts that he would want to receive and would offer him the most value. So that's a
Hmm.
good gift. But you can also add these kind of additional gifts that aren't extra money. They would be extra time. But two of the stories that have been shared in my newsletter is someone recently for Mother's Day, actually, it was her mother does the New York Times crossword puzzles. So her mom is
Hmm.
a crossword puzzle fanatic. So what this one of my subscribers did, and then she submitted it to the newsletter for me to share with the rest of the community, was she created her mom their own crossword puzzle for like their family, right? With
Cool.
inside jokes and
Oh,
places they had been and just really insider information that was so personal to their relationship and the mother's life. It probably took her a couple hours to do that, but there's free crossword puzzle generators you can use
Yeah,
online that'll save you some time if you can just think of the clues and the words.
I
Um,
love that.
Another one, real quick, that I did for my wife for Valentine's Day this last year, which a subscriber gave me the idea to do this, is just hide notes around the house. They don't have to be like necessarily love notes, but just hide. I hid like 20 notes and I labeled them all like 1 of 20, 2 of 20, 3 of 20
Oh,
around the house, and she's still finding them. So like
he's
I
not a
put
good
one,
seeker.
well,
Okay.
some are well hidden, right? Like there are some things in the house that I do, and there's some things in the house that she does, and
Got it.
she's the one who always replaces the toothbrush heads, right?
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's not done right away.
Yeah, for sure.
So I knew that it would take her
Oh,
a while to go into the toothbrush heads and the extra toothbrush head box, and she would see my note in there. It said something like, "Hey, I appreciate that you always changed my toothbrush head." It was probably wittier than that, but
right.
essentially that's what it said.
That's
But it's
brilliant.
just, yeah, it's this gift that keeps on giving, and it probably took me less than an hour to think of what I wanted to put on these notes and hide them around the house, and that was given on top of other gifts that were probably more practical and less exciting.
Mhm.
So I still got that gift giver's high, and she is still having a bunch of emotional value from this gift, and she probably won't find some of these hidden notes for years because I'm pretty good at hiding things.
Oh, that's so cute though. I love it. Like I like that like surprise thing of it. So my husband travels for work, but like even today, I usually put like a note in one of his bags. Like it's always that bag. But today I
Mm.
changed it to like his actual suitcase. So he will probably find it in 4 hours, 5 hours from now. But it's just like that surprise element. Or if I travel, like same thing, like he'll do the same thing. And I'm always like, oh, that's really cute. Like, thanks. Hey, I got your note, or whatever. And sometimes it's something dorky, like super cute. Like I said, I'm like super like nerdy, like kid like that. Like I get so excited about things like that. Or sometimes it's just simple, like I love you, or like have a safe trip, or I'm thinking of you, or I can't wait for you to come home, or whatever. But it's just that connection, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a great gift giver. And it sounds like your husband's a
Thanks.
great gifter too. So you guys have an awesome household of gift givers. That's fantastic.
It is quite nice, I would say. Like you've like mastered it. Okay, so you've talked about a gift that like you gave your wife that you really like. Like what would you say is the best gift that you have ever received?
Best gift that I've ever received is, we were living in Boston at the time. Now we're back home in Ohio, but we were living in Boston, and here in Ohio, in Cleveland specifically, where we live, there's a taco chain that is like my favorite restaurant of all time, and there's only like 4 or 5 locations, so it's very regional. And somehow my wife found out that the sister of the owner of this taco chain happened to open up a sixth location in New Hampshire. So she didn't tell me where we were going. She just said, "We're going out for lunch. I found this new restaurant." And we got there, and she has it all on video. And I actually posted it in the newsletter. And you could watch my face, just like it didn't make any sense why this was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
It's like out of
Um,
context.
yeah, yes, completely out of context. My brain like just froze, and it was like skipping,
What is
and I just
happening?
couldn't find the words. So yeah, that was by far the best gift that I've ever received.
Were the tacos as good there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like the exact same, and they used all like the hot sauces that they use like on the tables. They were all the exact same hot sauces
No
from
way.
like a local Cleveland distributor. So they had Cleveland beers on tap. So it was just like a taste of home. It was like I had never left Cleveland for that hour that we were there. So it was
That
awesome.
is awesome. Holy smokes. Were you
Yeah.
just like, how long did it take you to like sink in? Like, okay, this is
I
actually
mean,
here.
you should watch the video. And like I wanted to meet everybody, like, she arranged where I got to meet like the sister who opened it, and like I was taking pictures with her, and I got a t-shirt. But the whole time I was just like in awe. Like I just couldn't find the words. So yeah, that's by far the best gift that I've ever received.
Oh
And
my
she,
gosh.
I mean, that's 100% slam dunk. Like she knows that that was going
Yeah,
to be a good gift. So that must have
100%.
been so exciting for her as the gift giver as well. And to capture it on video, like great thought, because now we have that video to enjoy. And I was able to share with the subscribers, and it was, a really popular post.
She knew. She was like, yeah, like you said, this is going to be a slam dunk. Like, this is going to be awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I want to shift the conversation a little bit. As you know, my audience is stepmoms. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say about gift giving for kids? Do you think it's easier to gift give for kids? Do you think it's harder, like easier as opposed to like gift giving for adults?
Up to a certain age, I think it is easier. So I was one of the quotes that I often refer to, and this is one that I came up with myself, is kids are always happier on Christmas morning than adults. And why is that? Is because adults have no qualms or concerns about asking kids like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want from Santa? If you practice that in your household, right? So you're always getting them the gifts that you want, but for whatever reason, there's many reasons. There's this kind of taboo in society where adults aren't comfortable asking other adults what they want all the time, right? But I think kids, certainly up to a certain age where they're still telling you exactly what they want if you ask. Sometimes they'll just proactively tell you. I have a 4-year-old at home too, right? And,
Yeah.
he'll tell me right away what, look at that truck. Um, so yeah, I would say kids are easier to buy for up to a certain age. My own lived experience, my oldest is 4. So maybe I'll start experiencing, I'll have a different opinion as they get older. But then, once you hit like the age where they might answer with, I don't know, right? Then they're starting to become more like adults, and you have to navigate those waters. I don't know. Do you have any stories around that to add more insight to
Yeah.
the conversation?
Yes. So my stepkids are 22 and 19. So I met them when they were 8 and 11. So like 8 and 11 is still like a good age to like gift give. Like
Right.
my stepson still believed because we do Santa as well. He still believed at that point. And but then like you get to the teen years and even sometimes like preteen and they're like, I don't know, or like whatever. And so that part is really hard. Or then you get to like mid teens. I want the newest iPhone. I want an airsoft gun. My stepson was really into that, like paintball. Or I want a laptop. Or I want like a new snowboard. Or I want a new, like, and you're just like that's a lot of money, right? And then you've got two
Yeah.
of them. So what we actually started to do was we really reined in the gifts. And my husband and I have always done this. So again, like super nerdy, super dorky. I can't believe like I've said like a few things on here that I've said, but for our anniversary, to kind of like have that North Star that guides us, we do a traditional gift. So like this year we just hit 8 years of marriage and it's pottery. So we took a pottery class together and like one year it was paper, one year it was pottery, like this year, one year it was iron,
Hmm.
one year it was leather, like just different things. So we've got like parameters for gift giving and then we kind of go that like that route or find something that fits there so you aren't just like throwing darts in the dark. There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
But so we for the kids like really reined in what we were getting them because it can be confusing or like that, like I said, like I'm super excited about giving gifts, but then when they don't land, you're like, oh, like it takes the wind out of your sails. So what we started to do was experiences. So we reined in like what we were doing for Christmas. We'd get them a couple small things. And then we started to travel with them. Like we did cruises for like 4 or 5 years. And then we did all-inclusive resorts. And then we just did a cruise. We've done two cruises this year, but we didn't do anything over Christmas this year. It was the first year that we didn't have like my stepson or my stepdaughter in the house, or either of them or both of them. And so we just had like a nice low key Christmas at home because she's
Hmm.
only 4, right? Like we're trying to like manage the expectations, but that is wonderful. Like my stepson had done like for my husband, like for Father's Day 2 years ago, last year. Hey, here is money. This is for us to go out to lunch together or to go out to dinner together. So you've got like that. It's a gift, but it's the one-on-one interaction or it's the connection that you get to do together. And at this point, everyone basically has what they want, right?
Yeah.
And anybody can buy anything, right? Like anybody could have bought that blender, anybody could buy that t-shirt, anybody could buy those books or those shoes or whatever the case may be, or the handbag, whatever it is that you're into.
Hmm.
And anybody can buy a vacation. However, the vacations that are made on, or the memories that are made on that vacation, only you guys have them. And I think
Totally.
that is something to cherish. Like, oh, do you remember when? And in our house, I swap out the pictures every 6 months or so, like in all of the frames. Like, I'll just print like a bunch of whatever we've been doing. Sometimes they're candid, sometimes they're pose pictures, sometimes they're a picture of like where we've been. And it's whenever I would swap them out, like my stepson just left last year. He's in the military, so he's gone. But he would come back from school and be like, oh yeah, I remember. But it's like that connection that it keeps, kind of like the notes that you've got around the house, like it keeps on giving.
Hmm.
So yeah, teens are can be hard to do. And so like we reined it in and just did vacations. But something that really worked for us is I would just ask, like, I want to know what you want. I want to get what you want because I don't want you to be like, oh, awesome. I got a sweater that
Right.
I'm never going to wear. Right. I don't want you to pretend. And they would say, I just want a gift card to insert store. And I used to think like that's so generic, but they can go and get what they want and then they love it and they're like, hey, guess what I got, and they're really excited about it, right? So again, it goes
Right.
back to what you say. It's not about what I think I should be getting them, it's about getting them what they want, and then they can
Yep.
actually get what they want.
Yep. You just said so many valuable things. I'm going to try to quickly pare it back some of the things just so the listeners take this away. So, um, one is, I guess I'll start with gift cards. I'm a huge proponent of gift cards, and I have nieces and nephews that are in their teens, and that is just what I rely on to give them.
It's
And
easy
yes,
too.
it's not super fun to give as the gift giver, but going back to the gift recipient, if that's the true North Star, is offering them what they want to receive, just get them the gift card, right? You can actually go and, like, if you want to get them a Visa gift card or even other brand name gift cards, you can
Visa works
personal
best
you well
because
you can
Amex doesn't
personalize them.
always work everywhere.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. You're
So
right.
Visa works best.
If you get a Visa gift card, you can go online and for like an
Mm-hmm.
extra $4, you can personalize it and put your own
Yep.
picture on the Visa gift card. And I actually have a subscriber who's been doing that for a while, and they have these really funny pictures that they give people when they give them
That's
a
so
gift card.
cute.
So
Yeah.
it's a way to give them exactly what they want and offer them the maximum amount of value, but also kind of personalize it in a way where you feel like you're giving them something that is thoughtful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Experiential gifts is something else you mentioned. So study after study shows that on average, people prefer experiences over material gifts. So you're completely on the right course there. And I think it's especially important for step parents, right? And so knowing that I was coming on to this podcast and the topic is, a community of stepmothers who are probably listening to this, I asked my stepmother friends, my friends who are stepmothers, I should say. And some of the things that they said, which I totally agree with, is you probably don't have many, and I know everyone's journey is different,
Mm-hmm.
but many stepmothers said that they don't often have too many opportunities to bond with their stepchildren. So any
100%.
kind of those experiences, hey, you don't know what you want. Well, let me take you on a shopping trip. Hey, next time, a concert comes that you want to go to, let's go together. Hey, you're getting into cooking. Like, how about we buy an air fryer and we learn how to use that together?
Yep.
And then you have the opportunity, which I'm a huge fan of, to make gifts that are traditions, because that takes out the guesswork of future
Mm-hmm.
gifts, right?
Yeah.
So if you can do like an annual shopping trip with your stepdaughter, right, and that's a tradition that you have, and that's always your gift, it just takes out the guesswork, and it's a gift that for at least a while, that's what they're going to want. Any kind of like inside jokes, I love gifts that highlight inside jokes. So if you can like frame an inside joke in some way, I absolutely love it. I think that's an
I'm into,
amazing gift.
yeah.
And teaching them things, if you know something that they want to learn, like that's another great bonding experience that you can do. Yeah, so just thinking about bonding experiences, and usually through experiential gifts over material gifts are winners.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You just mentioning like um now I'm like blanking on what you said, but just inside jokes. So back when Bed Bath and Beyond was a store, like I can't even believe that I'm saying that. Right? Like how crazy is that? They
RIP.
yeah, they had this little section on an end cap where you could get gift boxes. And I lived for that. Like one of the what this one gift box that I got was called it was a gift box, but it looked like a legit gift. And so the gift that I got for my husband was called the Bathe and Brew. I don't know, you probably
Mm.
have not even seen this, but it was hypothetical gift. Of course, it's not real, but it was a coffee maker that you set up in your shower. Like it hung from your shower and it just like lit through the water that was in there. And so what I had put on the inside, because my husband, well, both of us really drink coffee. So what I had put on the inside was coffee that he likes, like different bags of it. So it felt like there was something in there. And I like gift wrapped it, gave it to him, but it was at Christmas. So it's in front of everyone. And he opens it. And you should have seen his face, Patrick. He was like, I will never use this and like put it away. I could not stop laughing. And everyone's like, what is going on? And so it says like bathe and brew, and then it's got like the shower head with like this coffee pot hanging from it. And so for years, this is so dorky. Like I told you, like super dorky. I would get a gift to put in there. I would just reuse the same box, but every year somebody different got it. And then there was another one. It was like a hot wax thing that you could like make scents for your car. And I had given it to my brother-in-law who had never put like a scent maker thing in his car. And same thing, because then people like got onto it, right? So he opened it and he was just like, yeah, thanks, Alicia. That's great. But like never gonna use it. But like those inside jokes of like who's gonna get the Bathe and Brew this year
Oh
or who's
yeah.
gonna so hilarious. Oh my gosh.
An
And
inside joke that becomes a tradition too is just like a holy grail type gift for me. So one of the subscribers in the newsletter shared how they framed an inside joke. So that it inspired me to do my own. So my wife calls me like the king of janky fixes. So I can fix things, but not like well, but it
right, yeah.
works. Like
Yeah.
I'm more like a duct tape guy than actually figuring out
Right.
how to fix it. And we went to Costco and we got this defective pack of toothpaste tubes, and they were leaking like at the seams.
Or they
So
defective, but yeah.
they were defective.
Right.
But we were both fine with using the toothpaste, but as you squeezed it, toothpaste would get onto your hand too. So it's really annoying. So, what I did was I basically masking taped around it and labeled it like, this is one of your, husband's janky fixes in some way. And that was her favorite tube of toothpaste that in her entire life. Like every time she used it in the morning, she would just smile using this tube of toothpaste. And then it came to the end where there was no more toothpaste in it, right? And she refused to allow me to throw it out. I was like, sweetheart, like it's a used toothpaste, like with tape around it. Let's just throw this out. She wouldn't. So I believe it was for Christmas this last year. And this was all inspired from a subscriber who submitted a story that I shared in the newsletter. I framed it and put it like right next to where she brushes her teeth. So she still gets to see that every morning, that tube of toothpaste.
I love it.
So yeah.
I did see the like framed toothpaste on your Instagram and I was like, I will have to ask him about that. And then I totally forgot. That is so hilarious. In that I think it was a picture of like three different things on there, like the toothpaste, a glass, and something else. I don't remember what the other one was. But I'm like, a toothpaste? That's interesting. And then on your website though, there was it's a picture of a horse and like the back end of it is like an actual horse and then like the middle part of it is like kind of drawn and then the head of it is just like a little kid had drawn the horse. Can you talk to me about that one as well? Like what you think we should be doing to like what you should actually be doing for gift giving.
Yeah, so if anyone's familiar, it's a pretty famous meme at this point where there's three parts of the horse, and exactly as Alicia described it, the back end of the horse is beautifully drawn. The middle end is drawn by, maybe a fourth grade level student, and then the head of the horse is drawn by like, my 5-year-old or 4-year-old. And the point that I was trying to make is if you separate that that horse into three parts. You know, the back end of the horse that's beautifully drawn, that's what we think the effort we believe we need to put in to give a really good gift. And then the middle part of the horse is the effort that we usually put in to give a great gift. And then the head of the horse is actually a lot of times the small amount of effort that we need to put in to give really good gifts, right? And I believe that, you know, your inside joke and my inside joke are examples of that. It's not a lot of effort
Mhm.
for me to frame a tube of toothpaste and hang it on the wall, right? But that's one of her favorite gifts, and it was that easy.
I love
So
that. Another thing that I do for gift, like I said, I love to give gifts, is on my phone, like in the notes part, like I keep a list of like everyone that I have to buy gifts for. And then like throughout the year, I add to it. But then I've also got one for me. Like these are things that I want. And so then when somebody's like, hey, Alicia, your birthday's coming up, or, Mother's Day or whatever, insert Hallmark holiday that somebody used to buy a gift for, I can just say, oh yeah, here are things that I would like. But I kind of like divvy them out. Like I wouldn't give you the entire list and then somebody else the entire list. I'm like, okay, I'll give you like a few of them. But it goes back to that removing a negative that I'm like, okay, I know in Patrick's life, like this is something that annoys him. Like these are things that I could get to alleviate that. Okay. I know in my husband's life, like same thing. But then I feel like that alleviates a lot of the pressure of like getting the perfect gift. Now, mind you, like 2 weeks out from insert Hallmark holiday, I'm still like, oh my gosh, I need to order that gift. Even though I've got a list of them, I'm still like frantically like, I need to buy these.
yeah, you're like on the Mount Rushmore of gift giving ally or gift, I guess, yes, gift giving allies, right? You're an amazing gift recipient as well because you help people out. My mother is too. So what my mother does is, you know, so I'm one of three brothers, and we're all married with kids, and the kids age from 16 down to 6 months. And what my mother does come like October or November is she reaches out to myself and my brothers and just says, hey, what are your kids going to want for Christmas? She compiles a list and then she shares it with everybody.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes, so the kids and other people in the family are getting exactly what they wanted. And she's the one that just cuts through the awkwardness of
For
asking,
sure.
like, hey, you know, hey, what do you want?
You
She
know,
just
this is
makes it
coming up.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's the matriarch of the family. So, like, who's going to say, you know, anything to her
Mm-hmm.
about asking what you want? So it just helps everybody out. So she is right next to you on the Mount Rushmore of gift giving allies.
And then so I've got family from out of state. Like I said, I'm in Michigan, but I am not from here. So I've got family that's out of state. And I've got an Amazon list for my daughter. Like, here are things that you can get her. And I go in and update it. I haven't done it in a while. It's kind of a nice reminder to like go in and update it for like age appropriate things, whether it's clothes or toys. Another, like when we were talking about gift giving for kids, this is something that my stepdaughter wanted when she was 14, 15, 16. And I've started to do it with my 4-year-old's friends because, as like your 4-year-old, they've got 8 bagazillion toys, right? But they play with like three of them. And
Right.
so we just had on Saturday two different birthday parties to go to. One said no gifts at all. And the other said you can bring a gift if you would like. And so I had said, what are your kid? It was twins. What are their favorite snacks? And I will go and get 2 or 3 boxes of those or 4 boxes of those because you don't need another toy in your house. And I just
Yep.
helped you out because you've got snacks. But my stepdaughter had said that too when she, like I said, like she was like 14 or 15. And so she had said, what I would really like is these specific kinds of candy or these specific kinds of snacks. And I'm like, that's brilliant because it's not another thing, but it's something that she can consume and she enjoys it. Right. Like
Yeah.
the last thing you need is one more thing in your house.
I'm a big fan of yeah, snacks that you know are going to be consumed as gifts. Absolutely. Back to, you know, being a parent and having to navigate your own children's birthday parties and others' birthday parties. So we're one of the families that will say no gifts, please.
Mhm.
But we go a step further than that because what you'll notice for the people who say no gifts, please, is some people are still going to bring gifts, right? And they just feel
Yep.
awkward showing up with no gift. So what we do instead to cut through that awkwardness is we say, in lieu of gifts, please, you know, color a picture for our son. right? So he has all of his friends who know what he likes. They know he likes dinosaurs, they know he likes monster trucks. So they color those pictures for him. And
That's so
then,
cool.
as they show up at the party, they present it to him and then we put it on the wall. Right. So they're all displayed and then he gets to keep those. And it just cuts through that awkwardness for those parents who feel like they're obligated to show up and give something. And then also, when those parents do show up with something when they were asked not to, it also makes the other parents who followed the wishes of the parents and not
Hmm.
who didn't bring gifts potentially feel awkward as well because, oh,
Yeah,
should we have not listened to that? Should we have brought a gift? So we just like to cut all of that out with giving them a very specific thing to bring as a gift that is not another, $20 tchotchke that's going to get lost or broken.
100%. Yeah, I love what you said. $20 tchotchke. Yeah. One time I didn't know what to get. Like this was a relatively new friend, and so in the card I had just put $20 and said, "Take little Johnny out for ice cream. The next time that you
Yep.
guys are out going out, it's out for us." Again, it goes back to that experience, something that they can do for fun. Whether or not they use it for that doesn't matter. But
Yep.
yeah, I like that idea of color a picture. I'm gonna steal that
Totally.
one. That one's really good.
Do it. Um, there's another idea that I wanted to discuss real quick. So, and this is
Sure.
specific to stepmothers or step parents in general. So you seem to agree. I don't have your lived experience. You're the expert on this, but you seem to agree that bonding experiences for a stepmother are few and far between, unfortunately. So one of a gift strategy that I'm a proponent of is something that I call like either it's off calendar gifting.
Mm.
So gifting on holidays or celebrations that aren't normally gift occasions. So let's say, Alicia, I don't know if this is true about you, but let's say that you're Irish and you identify as like, you're with your Irish heritage. So every St. Patrick's Day, you always get your stepchildren some kind of small gift. No one else is getting them gifts on that day. So that is like always your way to connect with them on
Oh,
those
that's
dates.
brilliant.
There's another thing that I call planned just because gifts. So this is a way for any gift giver who feels like they can never compete with those ultra thoughtful gift givers for whatever reason to just break through the noise and still stand out as a gift giver. Is just pick 2 or 3 random dates in the year that you're going to secretly plan and give a gift to someone. So you're just going to say, okay, on April 21st, it is a meaningless day to my stepchild, but this is a day that I'm going to plan almost as if it's their birthday or a holiday where I'm going to give them a gift just because. And you've been able to plan for that. So it's a tactic where you can stand out as a gift giver and still get your gifts recognized by your stepchildren or others in your life. In a way that no one else is really going to compete for that space because they don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because
I
on,
have,
on Christmas and birthdays, they're just going to be flooded with gifts, right?
yeah. And especially in the step family realm, because you've got two parents, right? So you've
Yeah.
got your mom's house, your dad's house, you've got in-laws, you've got
Yeah.
extended family, you've got, and then if your step parent has parents that are involved, then you've got so then by the time that this is what happens like in our life, which is another reason that we pulled back on gift giving because the kids got so much stuff at Christmas that they would just be like, I don't want to do
Yeah.
another Christmas, right? So then that's kind of how we stood out as well. Like, okay, we'll pull back on the gifting and we'll go somewhere, we'll do something because that's something that we can do. Like, we've got the capability of traveling, and everyone else has more structured work life and they don't have the flexibility of traveling where we do. So that's what we'll do. Let me ask you this. Two questions, and I'll let you answer them individually before I ask the next one. If somebody is hung up on the anxiety of like, okay, what do I give someone? How would you walk them through what to get? If they're like, well, what if I just don't get the right thing? Or they're just like stuck in this overthinking it cycle.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would tell them is that, gift giving should be treated more like a marathon than a sprint, right? You have a
Mhm.
lot of gifts to give people, if you think about a special person in your life, you're going to get them a lot of gifts over your relationship. So I wouldn't stress out about one individual gift, and I would make sure that you're trying to collect honest feedback from them after you give a gift. Um, you know, so the three tips that I always give to be a better gift giver, and I'll go through them quickly, is one, you just have to be a more proactive gift giver. And that's what the newsletter, the Better Gift Coach newsletter is trying to help people do. If you're receiving an email every week that's a really short, like 2-minute read that shares an entertaining story with you, but also puts you in that kind of gift giving zone, even if it's just for a couple minutes a week, you're going to end up in a state where you're finding gifts in March for a July birthday, right?
Yeah.
And now you're going to have that, that bird in hand when you're not stressing out in July. So just being more proactive with your gift giving is my first tip. Also, a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this as well, is treating gift giving like a solo sport when it could be a team sport.
Yeah.
And let's quickly talk about who could be on your team as a gift giver. One, and most importantly, the gift recipient. So I would always tell that person, that theoretical person that you're talking about, to ask the gift recipient what they want. I understand not everyone's comfortable doing that, but that would always be my advice. If you're not comfortable with that, who else can be on your team? So the gift recipient's friends or family are also great sources of potential gift ideas. Your friends and family, like that's how I ended up starting the newsletter, going to my friends and family and saying, hey, can you share with me the best gift that you've ever received or given? And then just from that, I had a library of great gift ideas for the people in my life, right? And then lastly, you can engage with strangers online. There's subreddits like gifts and gifts ideas, and then there's also obviously Better Gift Coach, the community that I run, where complete strangers who are already good at gift giving want to give you free advice on gift ideas. um, but yeah, that's what I would advise the person to do. And the last one is just not be selfish. So it kind of goes back to making sure that you're giving gifts that they want to receive over gifts that you want to give.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of demystifying it and trying to make sure that person who might be nervous about it recognizes that this is a long game that you're playing, and if your intentions are true and you're just trying to be thoughtful and give them a good gift, you shouldn't be ashamed if you end up, giving a B minus gift. Because the next gift, it could be an A plus. Just hang in there.
Yeah. So you kind of alluded to this in my second question was going to be, what if you give somebody a gift? I think this is where stepmoms get caught up too, because you probably don't know this, but stepmoms are awesome at taking things personally and like get their feelings quite hurt easily. Hey man, I was right there too. Like anything that could have been like taken as a slight was 100% like a slight. Like, of course, that person was out to get me. So let's say you get somebody a gift, and they don't like it. And it's obvious that they don't like it. And you had said, like, in your question that I just asked, getting honest feedback from them. And I think that that is hard for people to do. It's hard for people sometimes to ask, like, hey, what do you want? But then, oh no, I see that so and so didn't like X, Y, and Z. Now what? Right?
I mean, asking and receiving feedback is like a muscle. So the more that you
Yeah.
exercise it, the stronger it's going to get, right?
Thank
So
you for
for
saying that. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
so just get in the batter's box and start swinging. Who cares if you miss the first, 20, 50? Like you're eventually going to get better if you just hang in there. And you recognize that your intentions, as long as every party recognizes that your intentions for receiving that feedback is to make sure in the future you're giving them better gifts, then everyone should be aligned with that goal, right? Why wouldn't the gift recipient be aligned with that goal? And certainly you're going to be aligned with that goal because it's a great feeling when you give someone a good gift, right?
Mhm.
I have no problem with, as long as the top priority is giving a gift that the person wants to receive, I have no problem with the other priorities of, oh, and secondarily, I'm going to love giving this gift because I get to see them use it, or I get to see the face that they make when I give it to them. There's nothing wrong with that as long as your top priority is giving them the gift they want to receive.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying it's a muscle that you've got to flex. Like, yeah. And shocking, like you're not going to get gift giving perfectly perfect on the very first try. Like it might take you a few times. And I
Or
love
every
your,
time.
yeah,
Or
or
every
every
time. Sorry,
time.
sorry to interrupt, but I want to make that important distinction.
Yeah.
I'm a professional gift giving expert and I still give dud gifts. It's
What?
okay. Yeah, this is
I
the
know. Yeah.
long game we're playing, right?
Right. Yeah. But I think that's like the misconception that a lot of stepmoms have. Like like we've got to be perfect. We've got to, and if they don't like it, then it's because I suck at this, right? Like I said, we're like experts at like taking things personally, which it's okay to make mistakes. I think that's how we learn. I view mistakes as lessons. Like, okay, what do we learn from this? And then getting that feedback of, okay, this feels awkward to say, hey, Patrick, did you like my gift? Did you not like it? Right? Like it's hard because if they say no, you kind of have to steel yourself. And totally unrelated, but this is something that I've started to do with my daughter. What are 3 things that you liked about your day? And what are 3 things that you didn't like about your day? Or what did you struggle with? And it's really easy for me to say, what did you like about your day? Or what went really well? But at the beginning, when I would say, what are 3 things that you struggled with? I'd always be like, what are 3 things that you struggled with? Right. But I'm trying to like make my face match whatever like neutral tone that I'm trying to do. Like I said, I don't hide things very well. But now I can ask her, and if she says something about me, I don't take it personally. Like it's just how she's experiencing things. So same thing with gift giving. If they don't like it, that's okay. Granted, I bought it and I could take that personally, absolutely. But at the end of the day, the gift was for them. I thought they would like it. They didn't. I want you to tell me why.
Right.
I want to be as open as I can with that feedback or about receiving that feedback.
And I have a quick idea. I mean, if you want to build your confidence, then go back to the idea I shared 10 minutes ago about, breaking through the noise by giving planned just because gifts or off calendar gifts. Like the bar is so low on those gifts to be good gifts. Like if you just pick up their favorite candy and just give it to them, like that's a gift that you're pretty
Candy works
sure
for
they're
me
gonna
too.
like. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, you don't have to overthink these just because gifts, because the bar is
Just
just so
because.
low. There's no competition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to build up your confidence as a gift giver.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for answering all my questions and chatting with me, all things gift giving. Where can everyone find you? Where do you live online?
Sure. I'm at bettergiftcoach.com. That's bettergiftcoach.com. And I run a free weekly newsletter called the Better Gift Coach. And it's a 2-minute shortcut to always having awesome gift ideas well in advance.
I love it. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate having you on.
Thanks for having me, Alicia. Appreciate it.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Krasko. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and a review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.